Drake? What? Where's
The atomic bomb?
goes right there?
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ty, and today in this video we're going to be going over a theory that I have, a bit of a prediction you could say, that will either age really well 7 years down the line, or will just fall flat and nothing will ever come of it. That being that I have a feeling Oppenheimer will be the best film of the decade. Yes, that's right, the best film of the 2020s. I know that sounds crazy. I mean, I know that hindsight's a crazy thing, and maybe in 2030 we're looking back and we're saying, wow, Ty was right. But before we even get there, I want to go over the reasons that I think this really has a strong shot of happening and, just actually becoming true. But also I want to go over the things that may stop it from, going down this path of greatness. Before we get into my reasoning, I just want to say if you could please drop a like, maybe subscribe if you like this video, and also in the comments, I want to obviously hear if you really think there's any chance this could happen, or if, you just think I'm stupid. But with that being said, let's just get right into my pros as to why I think this could be the best film of the 2020s. See, before I even get into my pros, I want to say this. When I was thinking about this topic, I definitely came up with way more pros than cons. I have multiple pros and only 2 cons that I'll get to after I discuss my pros, but one of those cons is what kind of scares me, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. My pros. Why do I think Oppenheimer can be the greatest film of the decade? Guys, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, Christopher Nolan is directing this film. It's hard to doubt one of the greatest directors of all time. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is coming from somebody who isn't a big fan of his. I actually personally do feel that he's a little bit overrated, but I really do like a lot of his films, especially like The Dark Knight and Inception, movies like that. But I feel like some of his other ones fall a little bit flat. Regardless of that, it really feels like he put his heart and soul into this movie. And you could see that every single person on the cast, which we'll get to in a second, is basically saying that when Christopher Nolan called them up, they were ready to go. They were like, yep, sign me up, check. I don't care what the script's even about. So moving on to the script, guys, this is a pretty unique movie. Yes, we've seen a bunch of history movies before. Christopher Nolan himself made a history movie with Dunkirk. But have we ever seen a history movie like this that almost has a horror vibe to it? I mean, listen, I know we could get all critical into, the technical aspects of the filmmaking, but just off vibes of the trailer, you get this sense of dread. And I don't really know too much about the whole Oppenheimer story, like the history of, what he did. I know obviously he made the bombs, whatever. But you get this feeling of like regret, and you see that in Cillian Murphy's face in the trailer. And I'm so excited to see how this plays out, because they say in the trailer, in the dialogue, he could blow up the world. And even though in 2023, with hindsight, we know that didn't happen, it's still very scary, because at the time that was a real thing, and these performances in the trailers were selling it. And it's going to be hard for me to tell you right now that the trailers didn't look amazing. And also they didn't show too much, which is nice. At least, before the movie comes out. That's what I think. Moving into the reviews, there really hasn't been that many early reviews on this film, but everyone I've seen for the most part has said this is Christopher Nolan's best movie. Guys, he's going against Inception, Shutter Island, and The Dark Knight. 3 of the greatest films, top whatever, of the past 20 years. You're telling me this is his best out of those 3? And on top of that, one thing I want to make clear, sometimes in these tweets, because I know that they don't want to reveal too much, they'll always compliment 3 things about the movie. They'll be like, oh, it had great characters, good music, and it looked amazing. But sometimes movies that are lacking in the story department, they'll never say oh, and it had a great story. Critics never say that when a movie has a bad story. All I've been seeing in these tweets is it has great performances. I think that's a check for a great movie. It has amazing cinematography and effects, because Christopher Nolan said apparently there's no CGI shots in this, according to him. They said it has amazing cinematography, which I believe from the trailers. Check, you want a beautiful movie. But the third most important thing, arguably the most important, is that it had an amazing story. Check. Box number 3 is checked for an incredible film. I feel like a lot of earlier reviews, like I said, never really say, oh yeah, this film had an incredible, compelling, emotional story. I've seen a lot of tweets saying that, and that says a lot, especially considering it's complimenting all the other things of the film. Speaking of great performances, guys, this cast isn't star power just for the sake of being star power. It feels like every person on this set cares. They're playing these historical figures, but it's not like he was just like, yeah, I want all these stars, I want these popular people. No, he wanted great actors for a great movie. Christopher Nolan, I'm referring to. Robert Downey Jr. came out and said, this is the best film he's ever been in. See, you could trash Robert Downey Jr. all you want and say, oh, he's not a good actor. He's just been in the MCU for like 15 years, whatever. He was never like a real actor. He never had like a real serious role. Guys, Robert Downey Jr. is still one of the most respected actors in Hollywood. He's done a ton of work, even if you just want to say it's the MCU. He knows a lot about acting. A lot more than especially these younger actors, like Timothée Chalamet, whatever. For him to say that this is the best movie he's ever been in, that holds a lot of weight, okay? Just in general, for him to say that. You've got Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, who I believe is going to win, the Oscar for like best male performance of the year, best actor. You got Benny Safdie, who's one of the Safdie brothers, who directed like Uncut Gems, Good Time, all that. You've got Josh Peck, which is pretty funny to see him in this. Apparently Roderick's in this.
Roderick rules. Man.
Yes, Roderick rules. Yes.
I don't know if you guys have seen that. Florence Pugh. I don't know if I said Emily Blunt already. Apparently there's like other actors in it too, and actresses. I just don't know how much more you could ask for greatness in a film. I mean, these actors and actresses, all you've been seeing is just the praise and the love they have for this movie. And I cannot be more excited to see it. And I'm not even really like a history movie person. Let's move on. The CGI, the cinematography, whatever you want to say. Apparently there's no CGI in this movie. We're getting all practical effects. We're going to see a bomb explode without CGI effects. I am very excited to see that, and I have no idea what to expect. But from the trailers, it looks amazing. Speaking of the trailers, the way that it builds suspense in the damn trailer is incredible. It almost had me on the edge of my seat because, guys, with this YouTube channel, I've been going to the movies a lot. So I've been seeing this trailer a lot, and I haven't gotten sick of it one time. It's truly incredible. And there's one more thing. There's one more reason why I think this really has potential to be one of the best films of the decade. That being competition. So far, we are, I guess you could say, 4 years into the 2020s because 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 are what count because 2020 does count as the first year of the decade. The thing is, there isn't that much competition yet. We've gotten Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm just, naming generally the best movies of the years. Everything Everywhere All at Once. We've gotten Across the Spider-Verse. And, I mean, this year, what are people really calling the best movie besides Across the Spider-Verse? Maybe Past Lives. I feel like 2020 and 2021, they had the whole pandemic stuff. Not that many great movies came out, realistically. When it comes to Across the Spider-Verse, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. In 2030, are people going to say that a live-action film or an animated film is the greatest movie of the decade? If for some reason movies just stopped coming out and we just had to stop right now after Oppenheimer came out, people are probably going to lean towards the live-action one. I'm just being realistic here. Keeping in mind, I'm just keeping my opinions open. I'm trying to create a dialogue here. I'm trying to create a discussion. That's the thing. And also, even Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's like, a Nolan-backed film with an amazing, incredible cast, or Everywhere All at Once. And I'm not trying to dog on that movie. I thought it's probably a top 2 or 3 favorite movie of mine of the 2020s. However, it's just hard to compete with a movie that has a lot of legacy behind it, if that makes sense. Legacy. I think that's a fair word to describe what I'm talking about here. With that being said, I want to get into the cons, and there's only 2 as to why. Actually, well, wait. Sorry. I'm sorry. I just have one more pro. A lot of these really great directors, right? Martin Scorsese, who I feel is actually the greatest director of all time. Just my opinion, and also my favorite, maybe behind just James Gunn. Because I know those are completely different directors, but just different fields, and that's just what I like. Steven Spielberg, these guys. You could even say, I don't really know who else. I mean, there's a lot of directors, but the point is, they're getting older. Are these great directors? And I know there's a lot of great young directors that are really, there's a ton of young talent. Are these directors really going to be putting out movies till 2030? Are they going to still be producing at the same level that they've been for so many years? I don't know, guys. if we start to lose these legends, and obviously other people can step up to the plate, but I'm just saying it just makes it less competitive. But guys, that brings me to my number one con, which is essentially something that's inevitable and unfortunate. This movie's coming out in 2023. We have 6 or 7 more years in this decade. We have no idea what movies are coming out during that time. Yeah, we know what movies are maybe coming out in like 2024, maybe 2025. But what if the greatest movie of the decade is coming out in 2029 and the director that's making it, it's not even an idea in his head yet, because that is 6 years down the line. The writer, the editors, they don't even know it exists right now. It's not even an idea. It's not even a concept. It's nothing. It's in the air. It doesn't even exist yet. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, it's going to be the greatest film of the decade. See, if it was like 2026 right now and this movie was coming out, I'd say, okay, maybe it has a real shot. Maybe it can be the greatest movie of the decade, because we've seen 6 years and I don't think anything beforehand was as good as I think that everything beforehand has a chance to be beaten is what I'm saying. But there's still 6 or 7 years of movies that are going to be coming out before the decade ends. So that's kind of like this inevitable problem that there's no way to get around unless we get another pandemic and like movies stop being produced, whatever. But I don't know, Hollywood's in a weird situation right now with all the strikes and this and, losing hundreds of millions of dollars like every studio, it seems like. Also, con number 2, it's being very much hyped up with all the Barbie stuff. See, there's this quote I really like. I'm just paraphrasing, I don't know. But it's just that they always build you up just to tear you back down. Oppenheimer has been getting built up, especially from the memes with like Barbie, which I thought was really funny. I love it. But even just the common audience now knows this movie was coming out. Quite honestly, if Barbie wasn't coming out, if that movie never existed, yeah, Oppenheimer would be like a pretty popular movie, but it would not be known by like households almost in a way. Like some of my casual friends who aren't even movie fans at all are like, oh, Oppenheimer, Barbie, yeah, I'm going to go see Oppenheimer, then I'm going to go see Barbie. So it's going to be getting a lot more exposure, which I guess you could say is a huge benefit. But also the expectation, the bar is much higher. But also, the bar that I'm setting right now is for it to be literally the greatest film of the decade. So, I think it's pretty fair to say that. But guys, that's going to be it for today. And hopefully in 3 days, hopefully in a year, hopefully in 7 years, this take becomes accurate and we can look back and say, damn, Ty was right. Because I'm recording this on Monday and the movie comes out on Friday. Guys, with that being said, go see Barbie. Go see Oppenheimer. Thank you so much for coming to like my TED Talk here today, because I was pretty excited to just get this off my chest. I've been thinking about it for a few days, and yeah, I just thought it would be an interesting topic. It's not something I'm willing to die on a hill for. Just kind of wanted to bring up a discussion, kind of start a dialogue, like I said earlier in the video. Damn. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.